What's up, everybody? This is Jimmy with Decoded. It is January 30th, 2025. And today started out not so good. This is going to be the live trade video. I took 3 trades today. I was able to capture 2 of them on video. The second one, I just forgot to hit record, but I'll show it to you. And if you need to confirm it, you can ask the people that were in the room. We pointed this trade out before it was a trade. That said, the first one that I took, and when you watch the live clip, I do a cut to explain all the reasons I shouldn't have done what I did. And I didn't really pay attention to those reasons until after I took a big fat L. Yes, you heard that right. I took a gigantic loss. And when I say gigantic, I mean it was a 38.6% loss. It wasn't a hold and hope. I was hoping that resistance was going to hold, and then I started to ignore signs as to when it was not looking good for me. And I waited a little too long to get out, but I got out with a fat loss. Had to reset, and then we found some much better, cleaner, more comfortable trades to take, both of which I did. The first one resulting in a 36.6% win, which still didn't bring me green on the day. And the second one resulted in a 24.7% win, which did bring me back to green on the day. So feel free to watch these, pick them apart, and you could just see all the things that I teach, which is watch for low volume, watch for this, watch for that, watch for this. Before you decide to be aggressive, I ignored all of those things, even though I knew they existed before I took my trade. And then I took the smack across the face because I chose to ignore them. So go ahead and watch the video. If you want to watch the trades that we did find, including the ones I took, you can go ahead and check that video out right here. Otherwise, enjoy this. It's a little bit longer because it's two recordings, which I'm trying to trim them down the most I can. But with the opening video starting at 9:25 in the morning, you got to wait. And I stayed in that first trade a little bit longer. So anyway, just watch the damn video. I'll see you guys on the other side. All right, guys, it's 9:25 and you know what that means. That means we got call put scenarios to talk about. As I explained to you prior to now, I'm going to have a difficult time being comfortable playing calls unless it's from down here on a support level. Let me explain why. If we get up near this futures line, we have the blue line that more recently held this resistance. That would be a potential problem for us to continue up. We have the pink line that was also a resistance just a few minutes ago. That would be a problem for us to continue up. And then you have orange lines in close proximity of all these. So truthfully, if I don't buy put or calls down here on a support level and play it up to these resistance levels, I think I'd have to wait until we got above our second target high. I don't know how you guys want me to mark that, but that's my thought process. So if you're not going to get into calls until we get up in this range, I wouldn't do it until we get above this line. Okay. Now, if you were going to buy calls, which if this pattern continues, I'm not gonna until we break resistances, and then you'd be too close to the line. So the only time I would potentially buy calls at this point, which would break the rules of lower highs, is if we were on support down here and it looked like it wanted to hold, i.e. Qs were moving up and ADD was going up. Then I would take the risk and hope that we can get up to where we currently are now. Okay. For puts, I think it would be wiser to wait for a close below, should you be a conservative trader. Below this pre-market midline, we would be targeting our pre-market low line. We've tested this line several times and not really been successful in getting through it, except for once, and it didn't produce a move to the downside. So you'd want to wait for additional things to be moving in your favor to take advantage of that move. Okay, so the call put scenario is spread pretty far apart, but that's because to the upside on this chart, there's too much congestion for me to be comfortable. And that's that. Now, I won't be playing puts from up here either because we've taken out lower highs and, well, we've broken the trend line. For Qs, we kind of got the same thing, except our call line can be 524.48. Put line, let's just say if we get below the pink line of death here, we would want to get below that first. Okay. Obviously, don't buy calls when Qs and SPY are at resistance, and don't buy puts when they're both on support. We'll see what happens here. I was going to be prepared for puts, but I think I have to switch to calls now because, well, we broke the downtrend that did exist on our way into the open. So I will have calls ready, and if it, just craters down right out of the gate, then I'm going to miss probably a put opportunity. But for now, I'm going to be prepared for calls. So let's see what happens. Market's going to open about 30 seconds. Can I repeat the Qs? Well, if we get above 524.48 or below 522.60, as indicated by the white lines on the chart here. Let me put them on the Qs chart as well, just so people have it on all charts, whatever. I mean, the reports weren't bad today, so I'm kind of hoping we move up, but we'll have to see how it goes. All right. All right. Well, this is a fun open, isn't it? Wow, it's expensive. Holy smokes. Why? Why, baby Jesus, are you so expensive today? All right, we're struggling to move up on the Qs. Okay, I don't trade against the Qs, so I'm not switching yet from calls to puts. I have both of them on a watch list, so it's easy for me to pick if I have to switch. I'd still like to see Qs hold up here. Now, if the Qs get back below that blue pre-market midline there, then I'll actively be prepared for puts. But things aren't moving very quickly. Thorns, how's the volume looking? It feels low, but 42% on SPY, 60% on Q. So yeah, that's concerning. Qs are still holding that pre-market midline. I'm not in anything yet. Where did ADD open? Probably very green, right? ADD opened at 1700s, in the 1700s plus. All right. So I still have my calls ready. I just want to see Qs get through these resistances. It'd make me feel a lot better. NVIDIA's not doing much of anything. NVIDIA's just kind of frozen in time. It's printed a big green candle that got knocked down on the first opening candle, and it's trying to print a big green candle on its second candle, but got a huge wick on top as well. So NVIDIA's struggling a bit there. Guys, just remember what happened the last time the Qs got up to this line. You got to be careful, right? If you're going to be aggressive on your calls, you better have tighter stop losses, okay? Because last time we touched that line that we're trying to get to or through, we rejected it, okay? SPY is not moving. It's on the pink line. Most of the top 10 is green. Most of it. Microsoft's taking a beating. Holy smokes. Microsoft's down 6% today. Wonder what the hell happened there. Bad news, perhaps? Earnings. They missed. All right. All right. NVIDIA finally broke down. So NVIDIA is pulling back. That we'll have to see if that becomes problematic for the Qs. Good morning, Lisa. Remember, if we get back below that pre-market midline on the Qs, which is 523.16, I'm not going to enter puts there, but I will be switching from being ready for calls into being ready for puts. Okay, the chart has done nothing that's made me feel like I've missed out on an opportunity at this point. So I don't, it's kind of nice to see, it's kind of nice. I'm sorry. Somebody's stuck, not being able to get into the room right now, which is annoying. Let's find a red butterfly. All right, Qs are trying to put some pressure on that support. Let's see what happens when we get there. All right, I am officially going to make the switch over, not get in, make the switch over to being prepared for puts in the event that Qs get through the pink line. Right now, it's a super tight chart. ADD is not even moving. I mean, so it's a thing. Now, you might be questioning, but Jimmy, what if we cross the line on the Qs but not on SPY? That's a choice you're going to have to make if you want to wait. So what I would do is if we cross this line on the Qs, I would be playing getting in because of the Qs chart, get out because of the Qs chart. I'd be hoping that SPY would fall all the way down to their next support. But, you'd have to be aware of why you're getting in and where you would be getting out. So let's see if we can get through the pink line here. It's going to touch it. And again, remember, it's better to wait for a candle close if you're not a super aggressive trader, because remember, support lines are held by buyers. So if we close below the support line, then those buyers are 100% upside down in their trade. And then a lot of times they become a seller and help push it down. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get myself into some hot water here. All right. We're going to pause here for just a second because I need you to understand how stupid this trade was if you didn't pick up on it already. The signs that should have been obvious to me to not even consider taking puts were signs that we talk about watching for every single day. And for whatever reason today, I completely ignored them. And as you're about to find out, it cost me a pretty penny. So before we get back into the live recording of the video, which we're going to start up right after I point these things out and get these things off the chart. I knew we had low volume. At the time I bought this trade, we didn't come off of lower highs. Our top 10 for the most part was green and ADD was well above 1500. All of those are reasons to not be buying puts. And I ignored every single one of them. And then I sat there like I couldn't understand why the trade didn't work out for me. This ended up becoming a very big loss. And before you watch the live version, I'll tell you it was a 38.6% loser, which hurt. And yeah, so I just wanted to point out the obvious signs that I completely ignored before I took the trade that you're about to watch that I lost my ass on. So enjoy. Hope that the Qs keep going down. I'd like the Qs down to 522.06. I would think that would bring SPY down to at least their support of 603.17. The only problem here is that ADD is actively printing green, so that might not be a good thing. And the pink line is the stink line, so it's the most dangerous line to fuck around and find out on. NVIDIA is really struggling to move up, so I'm kind of hoping that helps this Qs move come down. What you'd like to see on the Qs is them stay below, say, the pre-market midline of 523.16. And it would be helpful if ADD would start printing some red. Now, again, this chart's moving extremely slow and it's low volume. So, there's danger signs there that would cause this to be problematic. Qs are holding the pink line. And this is obviously why you would like to, under normal circumstances, wait for a a close or a good move below resistance. So we'll have to see how it goes. Word. Super tight range, super slow mover. I hate slow movers because, if you got into puts because you liked coming down below the pre-market midline, good for you. You got to scalp a trade. You know, I chose danger there. I like that ADD starting to print red. I hope the Qs hold resistance here and start to leg down, which would be ideal. You've got all kinds of resistances up here. So if you're going to hold, and give it a little more breathing room, just look left. The areas of the reasons why we wouldn't want to buy calls up here on SPY would be the only saving grace for you if you were holding on to puts. Because if we get north of these lines up here, it's going to become a problem. It's going to become a problem. Okay, for put holders specifically. Obviously, this is not working out great. I'm hoping the Qs stay below this resistance line, but SPY is certainly doing its own thing. If we get above these lines up here, it's bad. It's bad. Qs appear to want to be breaking resistance here. And, this one's probably going to turn into a fucking L for sure. Let's see. Q's closed above. Come on, Spylita. Don't tear my face off. I mean, you've already done enough damage to it. Come on. Come on. Pink line is a stink line, guys. That's like the number one rule. And I tell you every day, don't mess with the pink line. And here I am. Took the aggressive entry, and I'm going to pay the ultimate price. I'm going to pay the ultimate price today. Looks like, anyway. And the real unfortunate part is that ADD is very green. The ADD is very green. And that's usually a rule too. You don't want to be playing puts when ADD is north of 1500. Juan, you got to listen better, man. You got to listen better. So I'm glad you didn't hear me, because if you would have bought puts too, you'd be as red as I am. Qs are at this last resistance here. This is the last bastion of hope. ADD is starting to print red. If Qs hold this resistance and come back down to the pink line, SPY will probably give me a chance to get out of this with minimal damage, maybe even break even. I'm very red in this trade. So if you took calls, good for you. You made good money. I mean, I personally wouldn't have bought calls off the pink line, although that, I guess if you're going to do it, is the best time to attempt it. Again, ADD is now printing red, and I'm hoping this resistance on the Qs allows us to pull back. Okay, I don't expect to make profit on this particular trade, but if I can make it less painful based on the current setup, then I'll gladly take less pain. But if the Qs get to close above this blue line and, that kind of stuff, then we gotta let it go. Come on, ADD. Well, again, resistance on Qs, resistance on SPY, and ADD starting to print red. So hopefully it's obviously a lot less painful now than it was even a minute ago. I don't know if the Qs can get back down to their support level. I'm assuming that if we got back down to where I got in and ADD was still printing red, I'd probably be able to get out with a break even or a potential even a small win. I'm down about $300 a contract, a little less than $300 a contract right now. So, now down $200 a contract. I'm just keeping an eye on ADD and the Qs. If the Qs can go back to the pink, I would imagine I'll be close enough. It's buying them. We'll have to reevaluate and see what's going on at that point. I'm hoping the Qs come back down to the pink line. That is the next support down from that resistance, just like it did in the open. It's kind of what I'm hoping for. Again, down $200 a contract, a little bit more now, back down to $200 a contract. So I'm down $1,000 on the trade. Yeah, if you got into puts at the top, good for you. I mean, that's essentially an A+ setup under normal circumstances, right? Resistance on Qs, resistance on SPY, and ADD started printing red. I mean, that's literally the definition of an A+ setup. Ouch. Come on, SPY. You're giving me a chance there. Nvidia still trending down. Nvidia is still trending down. We got good resistance levels on both charts, but again, horrible entry. Took a super aggressive entry. Didn't wait for a close or the right reasons to get into puts, other than four red candles on Qs, and that momentum just waned. It didn't keep up. In fact, I wouldn't even call that really momentum because it was slow. I mean, SPY was falling at that time. ADD though was not. So ADD was still trying to push up, yeah. We still have 15 minutes to 10 o'clock. Wow, this is a slow grinder. And the problem with holding onto a trade, especially one that you get into relatively early in the day, is that volatility starts to die off too. So not only do you start to lose profit because volatility is dropping, couple that with the fact that the chart is not doing what you want it to do, and that creates a problem. So we'll see. Back near that resistance on both charts again. ADD is trying to print a couple of red candles, but again, if Qs crack that 524.04 or close above it, I gotta imagine that a bunch of sellers are going to turn into buyers, and you might get a pretty nasty move to the upside. For me, it would be nasty, obviously. So you do have higher lows on Qs and SPY. Obviously, this is not a time you would want to get into puts. Like if I wasn't in a trade, I would not be considering buying puts here. In fact, it's usually just the opposite. Higher lows are bad for puts, and it usually means you're more likely to break up. So if that holds true, then yeah, I'm taking a big fat L. Qs are trying to hold that resistance, but the buyers are not giving up. ADD is now printing red again. But if the Qs don't go down, SPY ain't going to go down. 10 seconds is going to stop me out if the Qs close up here. Yep. I'm going to take the L here. And I'm out. We are coming back up to a resistance during a downtrend right here. So you got resistance on the Qs here at 519.68. You got resistance on SPY here at 601. So I think 601.80 is what we called it. If ADD is printing red, this is a potential opportunity for puts. But you know, and if it does work, what you're hoping for is a move back down to this support level here. Okay. So you hope for the best. Now your stop loss on this is if SPY gets back above or closes above 601.80 or 601.90 rather. Jonathan, you 37% on the count on that trade right there. Dude, that's massive. That's massive. Congratulations, man. Now get out of here. Don't even put that at risk at this point. That's a unicorn day, man. You don't get 37% account growth on a regular basis. That's huge. Good for you, brother. Good for you. That's massive. Massive. You say you got in up here. Did you get in up here because we broke support coming off of a lower high? Did you get in at the 1050 candle? See you later, Jamie. All right, I'm taking this, guys. Qs and SPY both trying to hold this resistance here. What you would be hoping for if inputs is that we stay below 601.90 and that we head back down to 601.05. The problem now is that ADD is not printing red. So this is not the one that you should be super aggressive on. Normally our rules are a pullback to resistance while ADD is printing red, right? So you're at resistance on both charts. ADD is the problem right now. You'd love to see small caps pushing down, which would help strengthen this resistance here. And then you would be hoping to get back down to the support that we just bounced off of on either chart. Okay. ADD keeps flashing these bits of red, but each time it's done that in the last 3 candles, it's turned it into a green candle. So this is one of those situations where this would be an uncomfortable hold if you're in it, but you've got your limits, right? If you close on the Qs above 519.73, where my mouse is, or you close above, 601.90 on SPY, you got to get out. You're hoping for this thing to come back down to the support that is the double bottom on both of these charts. That's what you're hoping for. If you're in it. Just testing theories to see if the pullback thing is a real thing, even though it's an uncomfortable thing, right? Qs are respecting the level. There's definitely some sellers at both of these charts at these levels. But small caps are not allowing Qs to bring SPY down at the moment. Just look at ADD, the bottom right corner there. It's still trying to push up, even though the Qs look like they're trying to come down. Now, if the Qs do come down to their double bottom down there, I don't know if SPY will make it all the way down to their bottom. So if you're getting in because of the Qs, or if you got in because of the Qs, then you're hoping you have to respect the support on the Qs, right? You would hope that the Qs make it down to the double bottom. Okay, so we have our resistance where my mouse is at 519.73. You're hoping because if that holds, that we come back down to 518.77. It's almost $1 move down on the Qs. Right? So if that happens, SPY is probably going to get a little bit closer to this orange line. But we're hoping for the Qs to come down to this level here. I'll put an alert there so I don't have to keep reminding you where it's at. And you're hoping that SPY comes down to 60104. Is anybody in this already? We were talking about this trade all the way back here. Let's go, Blessed. Let's go. Hoping for either the Qs or SPY to hit their respective beeps. Just make sure that you don't, so once you got into profit there, it's wise to consider putting a stop loss at break even, right? That would be the wise thing to do. You know where your stopping point is. If either one of these charts get above their respective levels. Man, the move that brought us down here was much more comfortable, wasn't it? You have sellers trying. They're trying. Is volume... no, the charts have not been easy in January. Is volume staying mediocre, or is it picked up? Is Thorns, are you still in here? It's low. Yeah. Okay. See, low volume. Oh, that's the other thing I got to write about. Mistake from this morning. Low volume. Ignored that little bit of information. Okay. Qs got down to that orange dotted line, found some buyers. It's not really the support we were hoping it would get to. You'd like to see the Qs down to 518.79 or SPY down to 60104. Feels like volatility might be picking up a little bit too. It's low. I mean, the contracts are moving pretty good. I'm green again on the day, not by a lot, but what the fuck was that noise? It sounds like somebody just jumped on my roof of my house. Come on. Come on. If you get a beep, you better consider taking these profits, Blessed. We're getting awfully close to it on the Qs. Getting awfully close to it on the Qs. Don't push your luck. And by the way, move it down. That's the actual stop, so that you do get out and profit if it doesn't break through here. Yeah, I bought the pullback. Over here at 1105. And I'm hoping one of these two charts hit the beep down there. Now, I do have my stop loss in place, so I can break even on the day if I get stopped out. But I'm now pushing my luck a little bit more because I you know how I am with the beeps. I want to hit the beep and I want to. All right, I'm out. I'm taking it. The Qs didn't beep yet, but man, they just touched it. They just touched it. I don't even care what happens after this point. You watch. See, there's your beep on chart 1. There's your beep on chart 2. and of course, Steven's going to make us pay, right? You son of a bitch, Steven. God almighty. Anyway, yeah, so red day, clear mind, worked my way back into a green day, took one extra trade than I really want to try and take per year. As I told you guys earlier, I am trying to take fewer trades than I took last year while making the same money or more than I made last year, right? So what that is going to mean is that I'm going to have to not do what I did on my opening trade very often, meaning pay attention to the signs that are telling me that the trade is more likely not to work than it's going to work, which I completely ignored this morning. Take fewer but better trades and hold them as long as the charts and everything I care about are telling me I should hold them. Okay. Now today, this last trade, I got out because both these charts got close enough to a support level and I don't want to find myself getting greedy. So I did market out of this trade only to leave what feels like another freaking chunk of money on the table. But it wasn't a huge trade. It was uncomfortable for a minute, but we talked about it, right? As long as Qs and SPY stay below resistance, we're in a downtrend. We're expecting the resistance to hold and come down to support. Now, during that trade, several of these candles were starting to print red, and that's what triggered me to get in. Then they closed green, which made things slightly uncomfortable. Once Qs rejected and started to print nicer red candles, I felt a lot better about the trade. But nonetheless, what time did you get in, Blessed? I got in at 11:05. As you could see, ADD at that time was pushing down. And 11:05 was the one for me. And then 11:06 had me shitting in my pants a little bit. Because of, well, this candle on the Qs closed right on our level. And then it held. So we never crossed the line that we needed to stay below on SPY. We stayed below resistance on Qs, and ADD finally joined the party, which allowed us to get down to our target. And again, the target on both charts was this double bottom support on these charts. And now that we've closed below them, we're hoping that we move down to $600.29 on SPY and $517.70 on the Qs. Just watch for your higher lows. Watch for all the things. If we break the downtrend line, you got to take puts off the table. All right, well, there you have it. You saw me ignore all the signs, and then you watch me take a big fat loss on a trade. Very fortunate to have cleared my mind, kept the emotions at bay, and then found good reasoning for all the things that we normally look for to take two trades that was fortunately allowed to dig me out of that hole. Wasn't a huge winning day, but big enough. It allowed me to clear my daily goal of $500, but not much over that. And And that's where we're at. So if you found any useful information in this video, please like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to join our Discord community, well, we'd love to have you. There's a link down below. And if you'd like to buy my book, there's also a link for that down below in this video. Pick it up. It's a good time. And yeah, go watch the other video where we found trades that made a whole lot more sense than the one I took this morning. Till tomorrow, hope you all had a fantastic day. I love you. See you.